Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Welcome back. Those of you who are relatively new, the Sunday chat is a regular event, providing I can be here and do it. Subjects vary considerably. Sometimes they wander off away from orchids. It's usually orchid related, and sometimes they're a result of suggestions from viewers. So there you go, viewers. It's open to suggestions. Few things. A while ago I said the chairman of our Orchid Society had to step down due to ill health, some sort of rare liver cancer I believe it was. He died on Christmas Day. That's 2 members of the society in close succession, but his was nothing to do with COVID, the other one was. So yeah, and another one from the other Orchid Society went not too long ago. It's a bad time of year, winter. Gets a lot of people. It's not necessarily a bad time of year for the orchids though, and it's not a bad time of year for this orchid keeper. I'm going 8, 9, 10 days between watering these pots in here, a little more frequently for the holy clay pots because they dry much faster, and the mounts I'm going 3, sometimes 4 days depending on weather. It is just that. We get consecutive dull days. We've got 8-hour day lengths at the moment, and a lot of it is dependent on how high I set that thermostat for the daytime. I set it for 15 for the night. That's standard throughout the winter, or this winter anyway. Hint hint. But basically the daytime temperature is my choice. Now if I keep it at 18 and we don't get any sunshine, I can go an extra day on the mounts and save a bit on the electricity as well, come to think of it. Just keep it down. Yeah, the warmer it gets, the more they will use their water up quicker, and blah blah blah. But it's far too early to start putting out warning shouts. But yes, we are at our shortest days at the moment. But you'd be surprised as we head out into January and certainly towards February, they will start to creep up. And the sun changes its height, and the higher it gets in the sky, it starts lighting up different things. I'm talking about through your windows now, and obviously doesn't make much difference in a greenhouse really. But certainly in the home where you're doing, your lights coming in through windows, it'll start hitting different places as the sun slowly creeps up. And it won't go as far into the room as it did when it was low in the sky. So some things might have to come closer to the window, yeah, because they're losing their nice bright light. So things will start to change as we head out into January. And I'm not changing anything in here this year for the winter. For the rest of this winter, everything stays as is. Blooms will come and go, obviously, but this is my favourite at the moment. Oh, cheers, by the way. It's actually quite late in the afternoon, and I'm on my holidays. Even if I am on my own again, but I clipped the 2 spikes together, waving all over the place, so that I could actually get 4 blooms nice and close together. But still my favourite Cattleya type orchid, Laelia anceps. Still my favourite. Absolutely stunning. Virtually no fragrance though, unfortunately. There's a little hint of something there, but not enough to call it a fragrant orchid anyway. Love that orchid. It's catching the sunlight where it is now, which is really nice. Some things are starting to go over. Some plants just look nice. It's to do with the leaves, the way the blooms are coming out. But this little tiny twinkle is looking really nice at the moment. Catch a bit of sun on the blooms if I get out of the way, because the sun's behind me, so I have to get out to one side. But that's a lovely looking little plant. It's still got quite a lot of blooms to open yet. And lovely delicate blooms, tiny, very fragrant, often 2 per pseudo bulb. Really earns its keep, that one. And that one is fine where it is. But there is another giant twinkle on a mount that is showing signs of I've been on my mount too long. Oncidium types grow new growth, leaves, blah blah blah, roots, yeah, and blooms. And then new growth will come out of there, leaving that as an older growth that won't bloom again. It's done now, but it supports the plant. And while that next new growth grows, this one will stay as is. But as it pushes on yet another sequence, this oldest bulb may think about dropping some leaves. Yeah, still contributes to the plant, still a storage unit, but it may drop its leaves. Oh, the sun's gone in. Actually, and gone in, it's set behind the roof, I think. It's getting dark soon. But yeah, it still contributes, but the leafless bulbs. But there comes a time when those bulbs actually start to die. And I'm getting to this point now. This red fantasy has been on this mount a long time. And consequently, all the new growth has headed towards the edge of the mount from the centre. And the centre of the plant is starting to look quite bad now. It's just got old leafless yellow pseudo bulbs. And they need to come off. So this is going to have to come off its mount this year, well, after it's bloomed and I see signs of growth. So I've got to strip the whole thing off and find, you know, the areas that are relatively new to the plant, like here, here, up here, this bit, this bit, this bit. I've got to find all those pieces and get them off and strip the back bulbs off, get the older parts, like you would do when you repot. It's no different. But I'm going to end up with quite a few pieces the way this has grown, and so be it. And oh, fragrance is gorgeous on that. Sorry, it just hit me then. So you know that's a relatively big job. But this plant was at its best last year when it bloomed. Now this year it's got a lot of blooms, but it's not backed up by a very nice looking plant. You're getting quite a few yellowing leaves, quite a few leafless bulbs showing through, and they're at the front in the centre, you know. So it's losing his looks, but the blooms are still gorgeous. So, you know, it's a matter of don't take things for granted. Just because it's in bloom, that doesn't mean to say it's at its best. You know, it has bloomed, yes. Chances are the blooms last year may have been a little bit better as well. But yeah, you just have to sort of keep your eye on things and see how they're progressing as a plant. Don't get, especially when you get blooms that last an awful long time. There's one round here. This Dendrobium alexandrae has been in bloom a long time. Yeah, lovely looking alien-like blooms, and they've been there absolutely ages. And that plant hasn't grown a new growth for nearly a year. The plant's not actually happy. And if you actually look at the plant, it's got one short cane, which is in bloom, with 2 leaves, a tall cane that's only got 1 leaf left, and no other leaves on the plant. The plant is not doing well, but it's in bloom, so you tend to forget to look at the plant, you know, especially when the blooms are out for ages like that one is. Don't forget the plant. You know, look for signs of things not being as good as they once were. Signs of things not quite as they should be. And that can be very, very slow progress. This is where perhaps some records, you know, sequential records of things, just a picture, yeah? I mean, you could go to the extent of having a folder on your laptop or whatever for each plant, and take a picture of it every month. You know, I mean, you can reduce the pictures right down to save space if you want, reduce their file size right down, and as long as they're big enough to see enough detail, and keep a folder and perhaps take a picture every so often and put it in the same folder, so you've got a collection of pictures in sequence of a plant. Now, if you've got hundreds of plants, that's a big deal. What else are you doing in the winter when you're in lockdown? You know, as far as I'm concerned, if I spent 2 hours out here with my stills camera, I'd probably get most of these plants photographed. Hour, maybe 2, you know, providing the light was good. I'd have to move stuff around, yeah, but I could get it done. And if I combine that with a watering session, kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and that's everything documented pictorially. Oh, excuse me, you've also got the difference between like our photographic competitions we've been having, our virtual, you know, the equivalent of the competitions at the meetings. It's just a photograph. And because of the complexities of the guy who ran it before, who's not with us anymore, we cut it down from a picture of the plant and a close-up of the blooms, if you want to only being allowed to put one picture in, preferably of the blooms, because that's all they're going to judge. Yeah, so they changed the sort of logic of that. Now that I'm doing it, I don't mind if they bump it back up to two pictures. I can handle it, but trying to get some people to take one is bad enough. And I must admit, some of the pictures that some people submitted, I sort of stop and think to myself, did you actually look at that before you sent it in? If it was a picture of their daughter, you'd have a job to recognise her. Anyway, so yeah, think about doing some records. And it's traditional around New Year to think of, well, New Year resolutions they're called, but at the end of the day, things you'd like to do different or better or both, yeah, for the new year. And what I'm hoping to do in the new year is rationalise again. That seems to be an annual thing, because I've acquired stuff, older stuff that I've had longer is no longer forefront. You know, if you bought an Oncidium intergeneric 5 years ago, and at the time it was pretty blooms must have. Yep, you've got it, you like it, it blooms again, it's okay. And then you see another one, you go, oh, I'll have that one. If you progress that over a 4 or 5 year period, and the latest one that you've done, pretty blooms must have, now compare that back to the first time you did it. Are they equal? Do they both warrant your care and attention and space? Or is the latest one you got far superior to the one you got 4 or 5 years ago, because things have progressed, things have moved on? Maybe, maybe not. But that is a way of rationalising, is just thinking, well, once upon a time I thought that orchid was absolutely stunning, but because I've now got this, this and this, in comparison to those, it's perhaps not so good. So that's a way of rationalising. The obvious way of rationalising is unhealthy plants. Plants that just don't seem to want to do well for you. That, to me, that's become clutter. It's taking up some of my time, attention and space and not earning its keep. It's clutter. Yeah, it's like clearing out a drawer. God, I haven't used that for years. Well, bin it then. So, yeah, there will be a rationalisation again. I don't know whether there'll be plants to go again. Oh, that's so much hassle. I'm getting older now. Do I want hassle? Oh, I've just realised that sun's straight in the camera. Well, it's nice to see it. God, look, I believe I've got a lens flare. You don't normally get that on a video camera. Anyway, let me just lift the camera out of the sun. That's just wind it up a bit higher. That should do it. There we go. That's better. Is everybody going, oh, that's nice? So, the sun comes out, my glasses go dark, I don't tend to see it so much. Yeah, so basically, cheers to the new year. This is important. This is for our mental health. It annoys me that I keep hearing that all the flipping time. You know, 50 years ago, you'd have had a clip round the back of the head and told to get a grip. There's people worse off than you. Snap out of it. All those sort of things. But nowadays, you know, not so much. I've spent an awful lot of time on my own, with my own company. I don't need any mental assistance. I miss seeing my daughter. You know, okay, great. Christmas Day, Christmas dinner together. Say cheerio. When shall I see you again? Who knows? Summer? Autumn? Who knows? It's all unpredictable. It's upsetting. I'm not going to go do lally because of it, though. I don't need any help, thank you very much. Some do, I know, fair enough. But yeah, I think sometimes a good shake and get a grip springs to mind. But anyway, each to their own. So I got some things to come. I have a talk to do for an Orchid Society that's got to be ready for the 9th of January. It's only 30 minutes and it's a Zoom talk that will effectively be a 30-minute video. When I've got that video together, it will have to have a soundtrack because it's going to be a Zoom talk. I'm not talking along with it. I shall sit back and watch and listen to it the same as the others do, and then be there to answer questions. That's the theory we're running with at the moment. But pardon me, when it's ready, I will put it up on YouTube for well, just for comments really, and so you can see what I'm up to, see what a 30-minute thing's going to be. Now my idea is I'm going to be lazy, which is it's not like me when it comes to doing a talk. I usually put a fair bit of work in, but I'm going to be lazy because I'm going to do it based on the benefits of documenting your orchids. And with that, if you think about it, the project orchids that I've just done, I've still got one of those to do. I've still got to do the cooler, shadier ones. I'll try and remember to do that tomorrow. I don't want that running into January, so I need to get on with it. There's one outstanding which I need to do. So I'll get that done. But built into those project orchids, because I've kept everything, I've got a year's worth of about 24 plants, fully documented every 3 months, you know. So I've got a fair bit of material that I can re-edit into a new video. I'll add in some actual video clips and some with me in it because it is supposed to be a talk, and I'll edit that lot together and make something new out of it. So you people who watch my channel, you may have seen little snippets of that video when I finished it. No, I'm not going to run a competition who can spot the most, but it's an idea to get something for 30 minutes of interest on a centralised subject that I can wander off of here and there if I choose to, as I put it together, where most of the material, or a reasonable amount of the material, is already available. I've already done it, I've already got it. Yeah. So that's my idea for a 30-minute talk, is the benefits of documenting along the way. And having just sort of said that it's not a bad idea to keep photographic records and possibly attach a note to it. Yeah, so you'd certainly want date, so you get your sequence or whatever. But so all I can say really is let's look forward to this new year, and it ain't going to start well, is it? It ain't going to start much different to what it was like before Christmas, and for an awful lot of people it's going to be worse. Our chairman that's just died, we've got to sort his orchids out. We can't. Because of the tiering system, most of the people that live close enough to be able to help are in tier 4. They're not allowed out. They're grounded, so they can't come out to play. He is in a section of a county, lived in a section of a county that was excluded from tier 4. So all of the rest of that county is tier 4 except for this little bit. He's in that bit. We've got one other member that lives in that little bit, and luckily they're close together. So we've got somebody who can pop along and look after them until such time, because we can't disperse them because people aren't allowed to go and get them. So they're stuck where they are for now, and we don't know how long that's going to be with this new variant of this virus, which is, we got clobbered. France closed the border. All those poor lorry drivers spent Christmas Day sat in their flipping lorry cabs. Hardly any food, no toilets, no ability to have a shower or a wash or anything, running out of money, stuck the wrong side of the English Channel. It's outrageous. And now, this because of the new variant and the problem with it and the seriousness, it's popping up all over the flipping place now. It didn't achieve a lot, did it? It had already crossed the channel. What's that? Slamming the stable door after the horse has bolted, which was obvious to the anything more than pea-brained. But yeah, so things around here are going to get worse. The little area where I live currently is right on the border of tier 4. Yeah, literally 4 miles up the road I'd cross the border into tier 4. No, I'm not allowed to. I can't go up that way. I can only go that way. And because of the separation in my county, the little area, Bournemouth, Christchurch and Poole, is separated. It's always shown as a bit of that bigger bit separately. And it's a huge area of houses and businesses and town centres and high streets. Huge. They've all joined together. They were 3 separate places once. They've all just grown and grown, so it's one big place. Guess where the next tier 4 is going to be? I'd lay money on it. So there we go. So, you know, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And I said to Hannah when we said cheerio, I said, we can think about Easter, but I wouldn't hold your hopes up. It's not far enough into the future. Things are getting a lot worse at the moment. Well, that's going to last a while. Then it's got to start getting better before anything's going to change. We've got the vaccine coming now, at least that's sort of rolling along. But, you know, you're 70 million people. Don't hold your breath waiting for them all to be done, will you? Priorities first and all that. But I reckon it's going to be the summer before we can start getting out about again reasonably, you know, safely, not just willy-nilly and regardless, you know. We don't want hordes of people on the bleeding beach for the summer again like we did last year. But yeah, so that's what we're stuck with. Absolutely stuck with. So we live with it. Now I've got a very long period now where I'm not going to see another living soul except for when I pop round the shop to get perhaps some milk or something like that. I won't see another person. I'm not going to go do lally. And I've always said that, you know, when I get really old and that, if I go do lally, I'll be the only one that doesn't care. It'll be everybody else's problem. Won't be my problem, will I? Go la la, gaga, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, keep yourselves safe, look after yourselves, and we'll get back to starting to look at the orchids more seriously. Because these Sunday chats are all very well and good, and sometimes they are on quite a serious or quite precise subject, and often it's just waffling away, just to say hello in this case, you know, hi. And yeah, we'll get back to some more specific stuff like, you know, orchid care for these types of orchids, those types of things. The repots and mounting things will pop in every now and again. So we shall see. But the chairman who's just died, guess what his speciality was? Odontoglossums. If I don't get in there quick. Yeah, so we shall see. So that could be some more coming my way. He's got some very rare stuff in amongst that collection, and quite a few of the odont species that have since been reclassified, but in my book they're still odonts. So I would like a few of those again as a memory, you know. So we shall see. Anyway, I'll get my talk together in bits and bobs. I don't need to do it all at once, and then I'll pop that up for you to see, and yeah, we'll go from there. I think, all being well tomorrow, I may try and get that outstanding Project Orchids video out the way, because that also gives me possibly some more material, you know, because it'll be another, whatever it is, 5 or 6 orchids documented for a year. So we'll see how we go. And most important thing I can say is just look after yourselves. Think all the time. You know, you pop round a mate's house to deliver a parcel, and you think to yourself, right, I'm going to put my mask on before I walk up the garden path, and I'll put the parcel down and ring the bell and stand well back. Aren't I a good boy? No, you're not. You rang the bell. Do your hands. Yeah, it's got to keep going all the time. You've got to think about it all the time. So it's hard work. But if you slip and you lapse, and we've now got a far more transmissible variant of the virus lurking around, we don't want any more going missing. So look after yourselves. I hope you've had a good festive period and not too many bad heads and upset tums. I had neither. But yeah, at least I spent a little bit of time, you know, a glimpse of family, a little bit of shared time, which is precious, you know. And now it's finished and it's back to daily routines, basically, because the days don't make any difference to me. I mean, it's a Sunday today. I don't care. It could be a Wednesday. It could be a Saturday. It makes no difference to me. They're all the same. And tomorrow's a bank holiday. Oh, don't, oh, there's no difference to me. I don't go to work, so I haven't got a day off, have I? Anyway, look after yourselves, stay safe, and look after those around you who perhaps can't do such a good job at looking after themselves. So, and see what you can do. Let's just, I forget which film it was, but you know, somebody shouted, "Just stay alive. I will find you. Just stay alive." Nope, can't remember the film. It's not a competition. And thanks for dropping by again. Thanks for everybody who's subscribed in the past and got me up past that 10k magic point. No need to harp on about that from my point of view anymore. That staging post is past. It will slowly but surely climb from there, but it doesn't make so much difference to me anymore. That milestone's been achieved. It's over and done with. We're ahead of the game now. It's working well, and the most important thing to me is the views. It's the people who watch the videos, and even though they may not comment, they're there. And then there are those that comment regular as well. Now, thanks for that. It gives me something to do in the morning. Everybody gets some sort of answer, and that's how I work the channel. But the channel's running along nicely. I'm enjoying it. I still enjoy it. I've got no plans on doing any dramatic changes or anything like that. You still won't get adverts in the middle of my videos. My daughter was badgering me because we were watching I was showing her various things on the laptop, and you look at this, that and the other. Of course, I've got adverts, right? She's been on YouTube Premium for ages. She hasn't seen an advert on YouTube. She was, "Oh, not another one." "Why don't you get Premium, Dad?" But she was lucky. She got in a family group with her two brothers, and I think her mum's in it as well, and one of her brother's other halves. So you can buy a group premium membership where you pay for one, make one payment, and 5 people are like in that group. So it's only about £5 each. Whereas if I do it, I'll be paying for it on my own, and I'd have to pay full price. But I do watch a lot of YouTube stuff, and it might be an idea to just get rid of that flipping adverts all the time. The cost for me would be justified, and because I am fully aware that the premium membership, you don't, as a person, don't get to see any adverts, but the creators do still get a share of the funds. So it's not like you're depriving the creators of any money by going with the premium version. So yeah, I may give that a go as well and get rid of the flipping things. It's most annoying in the middle. You find a piece of music that you haven't heard for ages. "Oh, I really like this." Halfway through, get off. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video, whatever that is. I haven't made up my mind yet. As I said, it's starting to get dark now. It gets dark so quick once it starts. Sun and temperature drop, so and that's dropping in here as well. So yeah, I need to get that sorted. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by. Look after yourselves. I can't put that out there more than that. Just look after yourselves. Yeah, look after your orchids, especially if you run a channel. Otherwise, we won't have anything to watch, will we? But look after yourselves. Just keep this ticking over all the time. So treat every human being on the planet as a hostile, potentially infected. Germ spray. Yeah. Way to be. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.